Imagine this. The day you were born wasn't just a random occurrence. It was the universe whispering secrets about your soul's path. In Buddhist teachings, numbers hold a deep spiritual significance, guiding your destiny, character, and inner purpose. Let's uncover what your birthday number says about your spiritual archetype. Part 1. The Call of Numbers. Long ago, a wise monk named Sadhav lived in the high mountains of the Himalayas, where the air was thin and the silence was profound. One evening, as he meditated under the full moon, a vision appeared before him. The numbers of birthdays began dancing in the sky, each illuminating a unique path for those born under its influence. As the vision unfolded, the monk understood that each soul is tied to a spiritual archetype, shaped by the number of their birth date. From the number 1 to 31, these archetypes revealed the secret strengths and challenges of every individual. Part 2. Discovering your archetype. As the monk descended from the mountains, he carried with him this sacred knowledge. Villagers came to him, eager to understand their own spiritual paths. And so, Sadhav began teaching. If you were born on the 1st, 10th, 19th, or 28th, you are the pioneer, a natural leader driven by purpose and innovation. Your spiritual journey revolves around finding courage to walk untrodden paths. In Buddhism, the pioneer is like the bodhisattva who vows to lead others toward enlightenment. Born on the 2nd, 11th, 20th, or 29th, you embody the peacemaker, sensitive, intuitive, and compassionate. Your path is one of balance and harmony, much like the Buddha's middle way, which teaches the importance of moderation and peace within. Born on the 3rd, 12th, 21st, or 30th, you are the creator. With an endless well of creativity, your soul seeks to express the beauty of existence. Like Buddhist monks who create intricate mandalas, you bring forth the beauty of impermanence, teaching others the sacredness of each moment. For those born on the 4th, 13th, 22nd, or 31st, you are the architect, stable, disciplined, and grounded. Your path is about creating strong foundations, much like the mindful cultivation of wisdom and ethical conduct in Buddhism. Part 3. The Journey Within. As Sadhav taught the villagers, they realized their birthday numbers weren't just digits. They were keys to understanding themselves. One young woman, born on the 16th, was told she was the seeker, a soul destined to question everything in search of truth. Her heart resonated with the teachings of the Buddha, who spent his life seeking answers to life's great mysteries. An elderly man, born on the 25th, learned that he was the sage. With age came wisdom, and his path was to guide others through his deep insights. The man had always been drawn to meditation, and now he understood why. He had the natural calling of a spiritual teacher. Part 4. Your path unfolds. Sadhav's teachings spread far and wide, and soon people from distant lands sought his wisdom. They learned that understanding their spiritual archetype could help them unlock their potential, find inner peace, and live a life aligned with their true purpose. The monk would often remind them, your birthday number is the universe's gentle nudge. It's up to you to listen, to follow the path with mindfulness, and to embrace the lessons along the way. Just as each number carries a vibration, so does each soul. And by tuning into the energy of your birthday, you begin to understand your spiritual archetype, walking the path the universe has quietly laid out for you. Part 5. The Wisdom Within. What does your birthday number say about you? Do you resonate with the strength of the pioneer, the creativity of the creator, or the wisdom of the sage? Each archetype has its place in the grand tapestry of existence. In Buddhist teachings, it's not the label that defines you, but how you walk your path with awareness, compassion, and mindfulness. Remember, the number of your birthday isn't just a marker of time. It's the silent thread weaving through your soul's journey. Listen to its message, embrace your archetype, and step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. Part 6. The Archetypes Unveiled. As Sadhav continued his journey, people from every corner of the land came to him, seeking the wisdom hidden in their birthday numbers. Each archetype had its own challenges and strengths, but Sadhav reminded them that these numbers were merely guideposts, not fixed destinies. Born on the 5th, 14th, or 23rd, you are the explorer. Restless, curious, and adventurous, you are drawn to experience life in its fullest. In Buddhism, the explorer mirrors the monk's journey through different lives and lessons in the cycle of samsara, always learning, evolving, and moving toward the ultimate truth. For those born on the 6th, 15th, or 24th, you are the nurturer. Compassionate and kind, you are here to care for others, much like the bodhisattvas who delay their own enlightenment to help all sentient beings. Your spiritual path involves service, love, and healing, reminding others that true happiness lies in selflessness. Born on the 7th, 16th, or 25th, you are the seeker. Like the Buddha who searched for enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, you are driven by a deep need to uncover the mysteries of life. Your path is one of introspection, contemplation, and spiritual inquiry. If your birthday is on the 8th, 17th, or 26th, you embody the warrior. Strong, resilient, and determined, you are here to overcome obstacles and fight for justice. In Buddhist teachings, the warrior archetype reminds us of the inner battle against ignorance, craving, and attachment. Victory comes not through force, but through self-mastery. Part 7. The Awakening. One day, a young boy named Arun approached Sadhav, eager to understand his spiritual archetype. He was born on the 9th of the month and felt drawn to the mystical and unseen forces in the world. The monk smiled and said, "You are the mystic. Your soul is deeply connected to the spiritual realms, and your purpose is to explore the depths of the unseen, much like the Buddha, who sought to understand the nature of suffering and existence." As Arun sat beside the monk, listening to the gentle wind and rustling leaves, Sadhav explained, "The mystic sees beyond the material world. You are here to remind others of the deeper truths, the interconnectedness of all life. Your spiritual archetype calls you to trust in the unknown and walk the path of faith." Part 8. Beyond the Numbers. Over the years, Sadhav's teachings helped countless people find their inner truth, but he always reminded them that their spiritual archetypes were not cages. They were mirrors, reflecting the soul's potential, but not limiting its growth. "You must understand," Sadhav would say, "that while your birthday number can reveal a path, the true journey lies in how you choose to walk it." The Buddha did not stay confined to the palace of his birth. He left to discover the truth of suffering and the path to liberation. In the same way, your spiritual archetype is just the beginning. You are free to evolve, transcend, and create your own path. Part 9. The Path of Integration. One woman, born on the 27th, came to Sadhav feeling lost. She resonated with the healer archetype, but struggled to balance her own needs with those of others. The monk, with his deep understanding, reminded her, "As the healer, your gift is to mend others' pain, but never forget to heal yourself." In Buddhism, we learn that balance is essential. The Buddha taught us that to give love, we must also nurture the love within. The woman realized that her struggles were part of her path. By honoring her spiritual archetype, she could learn to heal herself and others with wisdom and compassion. Part 10. The Final Teaching. As Sadhav grew older, he prepared to pass on his teachings to his disciples. His final lesson echoed through the mountains, touching the hearts of all who heard it. Your birthday number is like a seed. It holds the potential of a great tree, but how that tree grows depends on the care you give it. Whether you are the pioneer, the mystic, the seeker, or the warrior, remember that your spiritual archetype is a gift from the universe. But like all gifts, it must be nurtured with awareness, kindness, and love. As the sun set behind the Himalayas, Sadhav's voice grew soft but powerful. The numbers are your guide, but your spirit is boundless. Embrace your path, walk with mindfulness, and remember that you are always connected to the infinite wisdom of the universe. Part 11. Your spiritual archetype awaits now. It's your turn to discover what your birthday number says about your spiritual archetype. Reflect on the number you were born under and ask yourself, what lessons has this number brought into your life? How can you embody the essence of your archetype more fully? Just as Sadhav once did, you can use this knowledge to grow, evolve, and align yourself with the path the universe has designed for you. The journey of understanding your spiritual archetype is one of empowerment, self-awareness, and awakening. What does your birthday number whisper to you? Part 12. The Power of Alignment. As Sadhav's teachings spread, those who followed his wisdom began to notice profound changes in their lives. By understanding their spiritual archetypes, people felt more connected to their true purpose. They no longer felt aimlessly adrift in the sea of life, but instead walked with clarity, strength, and inner peace. Each archetype gave them insights into their strengths and challenges, helping them navigate relationships, careers, and spiritual practices with mindfulness. Whether they were explorers, nurturers, or warriors, they realized that embracing their archetype brought them closer to their true essence. One of Sadhav's disciples, a man named Devak, shared his story. Born on the 11th, he was the peacemaker, naturally sensitive and intuitive. For years, he struggled with how to handle conflicts and often withdrew from difficult situations. But once he understood his archetype, everything changed. Sadhav showed me that being the peacemaker doesn't mean avoiding challenges, Devak explained to a gathering of villagers. It means finding balance within myself and helping others do the same. I learned that true peace begins in the heart, and when I embraced that, I became stronger, more capable of facing life's difficulties with compassion. Part 13. A World of Archetypes. As more people uncovered their spiritual archetypes, the village was transformed. People began to understand one another better. Instead of judging or comparing, they saw each person's archetype as a piece of the larger puzzle of life. The architects worked together to build strong communities, their disciplined nature ensuring that everything had a solid foundation. The creators used their gifts to inspire beauty and joy, reminding everyone of the impermanence and magic of life. The warriors fought not with swords but with perseverance, conquering inner demons of doubt, fear, and anger. Each archetype had its role, and together they wove a tapestry of harmony and growth. Part 14. The Challenges of the Path. However, Sadhav also reminded his followers that every archetype had its own challenges. Life would present obstacles not as punishments, but as opportunities to deepen their understanding and refine their character. Take the seeker, for instance. Those born under this archetype were often plagued by doubts and questions. Their unrelenting thirst for truth sometimes made them restless, searching endlessly for meaning. Sadhav would tell them, "Seek, but remember that some answers come not through the mind, but through the heart. Trust in the journey, even when the path is unclear." The pioneer archetype, too, faced unique challenges. Their boldness and independence often led them to feel isolated, taking on too much responsibility and forgetting to rely on others. Sadhav's advice to them was always the same. A leader is strongest when they know how to receive help. The greatest pioneers lift others as they rise. Part 15. A Sacred Connection. One evening, Sadhav sat beneath the ancient Bodhi tree where he often meditated. A small child approached him, wide-eyed and curious. "Master," the child asked, "what if I don't like my birthday number? Can I change my spiritual archetype?" Sadhav smiled, his eyes twinkling with wisdom. "You cannot change the day you were born, but you can change how you live. Your spiritual archetype is a guide, not a cage. It shows you your strengths, but how you use them is up to you." He continued, "Even if your archetype feels challenging at times, it is still a gift. It is through these challenges that you will grow, transform, and reach your highest potential." The Buddha taught us that suffering leads to enlightenment when we embrace it with mindfulness and compassion. So too will your archetype lead you to your true self if you choose to walk its path with open eyes and an open heart. The child nodded, comforted by Sadhav's words, and skipped away to share the newfound wisdom with his friends. Part 16. Embrace your archetype. As night fell, the village gathered one last time to hear Sadhav's teachings. His voice, though soft, carried the weight of lifetimes of wisdom. "Your spiritual archetype is like a star in the night sky," he said. "It shines with a light that is unique to you, illuminating the path only you can walk. Others may have their own stars, but none shine quite like yours." He paused, letting the villagers reflect on his words. Embrace your archetype, live its truth. Know that it is part of the grand design of the universe. And remember, the numbers of your birthday are not just numbers. They are the universe speaking to you, guiding you home. As the people dispersed, each felt a deep sense of peace and purpose. They understood now that their birthday number wasn't just a symbol of age, but a key to unlocking the mysteries of their own souls. Part 17. The journey continues. Sadhav's teachings continued to echo through the generations, guiding countless souls on their spiritual journeys. Even after his passing, the wisdom of the birthday numbers lived on, carried in the hearts of those who had learned the secrets of their spiritual archetypes. And so, the question remains for you: what does the number of your birthday say about your spiritual archetype? Whether you are a pioneer, a seeker, a mystic, or something else entirely, remember that your archetype is a gift. Embrace it, walk its path with mindfulness, and let it guide you to the fullness of your true potential. The journey begins now. What will you discover? Part 18. The Legacy of the Numbers. As the years passed, Sadhav's village became known as the Village of the Archetypes, a place where people from distant lands came to learn about the deeper meaning of their lives through their birthday numbers. Pilgrims would sit under the Bodhi tree where Sadhav once taught, meditating on their archetypes and reflecting on the wisdom they had inherited. Among these pilgrims was a young woman named Lyra. She had traveled many miles after hearing the stories of Sadhav and the spiritual archetypes. Lyra was born on the 22nd and was deeply curious to uncover her archetype's hidden meaning. She had felt a calling her entire life, but couldn't quite put her finger on what it was. When she arrived at the village, she sought out the elders who had preserved Sadhav's teachings. One of them, an old monk named Arun, greeted her warmly. "I've come to understand my archetype," Lyra said eagerly, "but I don't know where to begin." Arun smiled knowingly. "You are the master builder, Lyra," he said gently. "Those born on the 22nd possess the rare gift of being able to create, not just for themselves but for the world. You have the power to bring visions into reality, to build foundations that will stand the test of time." Lyra listened intently, feeling the truth of Arun's words resonate within her. "But," the monk continued, "with great power comes great responsibility. The master builder archetype carries a heavy burden. You must learn to balance your ambition with compassion and your desire for achievement with the needs of others. The Buddha taught us that the path to enlightenment is one of balance. This is your greatest challenge and greatest gift." Part 19. Lyra's Awakening. Over the next several months, Lyra stayed in the village, learning the ways of the master builder. She meditated on her purpose, reflecting on the structures she had already built in her life: relationships, career, and personal goals. Through the wisdom of Sadhav's teachings, she came to realize that her true calling was not just to build for herself, but to create spaces where others could grow, learn, and thrive. One day, while sitting beneath the ancient Bodhi tree, Lyra experienced a profound realization. She saw her life laid out before her like a series of blueprints, each one more intricate than the last. She understood that her gift was not just in building physical structures, but in creating communities, nurturing ideas, and fostering connections between people. With this newfound understanding, Lyra felt a deep sense of peace wash over her. She no longer questioned her path or doubted her abilities. She knew with absolute certainty that she was on the right path, the path of the master builder. Part 20. The Final Lesson. As Lyra prepared to leave the village and return to her own life, she sought out Arun one last time. She had learned so much about her spiritual archetype, but she wanted to know if there was more. "Arun," she asked, "what happens once we fully understand our archetype? Is that the end of the journey?" Arun chuckled softly. "No, dear Lyra, that is only the beginning. Understanding your archetype is like opening a door, but what lies beyond that door is an infinite journey. Your archetype is a guide, a tool, but it is not the destination." He looked at her with kind eyes. Sadhav always reminded us that while our archetypes help us understand ourselves, they are not our limits. The universe is vast and we are boundless. The true journey is one of constant growth, where we learn to go beyond the definitions of our archetypes and discover the deeper universal truths that connect us all. Lyra smiled, feeling a profound sense of gratitude. She realized that her archetype had shown her the way, but it was up to her to walk the path. Part 21. The Universal Archetype. Before leaving the village, Lyra spent one last evening in quiet contemplation. As she sat by the tranquil river that flowed through the village, she reflected on the teachings she had received and the journey that lay ahead. Her spiritual archetype had guided her to a deeper understanding of herself, but now she felt called to something even greater. She realized that while each person's archetype was unique, there was something that connected them all, a universal archetype that existed within every soul. This universal archetype was the essence of oneness, the understanding that beneath the surface of individuality, all beings were connected by the same spiritual truth. It was this truth that Sadhguru had always pointed to in his teachings. Whether one was a seeker, a nurturer, or a warrior, all paths ultimately led back to the same source, the realization of the interconnectedness of all life. Part 22. A New Beginning. Lyra left the village of the archetypes with a heart full of wisdom and a spirit ready for the next phase of her journey. She no longer saw her spiritual archetype as a fixed identity, but as a stepping stone on her path to deeper understanding. As she walked the winding road back to her village, she felt a sense of lightness and purpose. The teachings of Sadhguru would stay with her forever, guiding her as she continued to build not only for herself, but for the world around her. The stars shone brightly overhead, each one a reminder of the unique light that every soul carries within. And as Lyra looked up, she smiled, knowing that her journey had only just begun. Part 23. Your journey awaits now, dear reader. It is your turn. What does the number of your birthday say about your spiritual archetype? How can you embrace its wisdom and use it to guide your path? Like Lyra, you too are on a journey of self-discovery, one that is shaped by the unique gifts and challenges of your spiritual archetype. But remember, the journey does not end with understanding. It begins there. The wisdom of your archetype will help you navigate life's twists and turns. But the true goal is to transcend these labels and find the universal truth that connects us all. So, what will you build? What will you seek? What will you discover on your path? The journey is yours and it starts now. So friends, see you again in another video. Till then, take care of your health.